Hello there. I'm Alex, and I sell cheese for a living. As a cheesemonger and certified cheese professional, I have helped thousands of customers find their favorite cheese. Each episode, I'll share a little bit of what I've learned from behind the counter as we dive into the vast and fascinating world of all things cheese. Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most important organizations in the whole cheese world, the American Cheese Society, or ACS. And with the ACS annual conference happening right now, it feels like the perfect time to take a closer look at what this organization actually does and how it has helped shape the modern American cheese landscape. Before the ACS existed, the American artisan cheese world was much more fragmented. Cheesemakers were often working in isolation. Retailers had fewer resources for education, and there wasn't really a central place where people in the industry could come together to share knowledge, compare notes, and build stronger professional identity. American cheeses were still fighting for recognition, and a lot of people in the business knew that if the category was going to grow, it needed more than just talented makers. It needed a community. And that's part of what inspired the ACS in the first place. Founded in 1983 by Frank Kosakowski, he was a professor at Cornell University. He authored several influential books on cheesemaking, including cheese and fermented milk foods. His work laid the groundwork for the society, which aims to promote and support American cheeses while providing educational resources for the cheese industry. In this episode, we're going to cover everything that the ACS does for cheesemakers, cheesemongers, and just people who like cheese in general. So with that, let's start with the basics, what the ACS actually is and who it serves. The American Cheese Society is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting the understanding, appreciation, and quality of American cheeses. It serves a wide range of people in the cheese world, including cheesemakers, affineurs, retailers, cheesemongers, distributors, educators, writers, and cheese lovers. For many people in the industry, ACS is where they go to learn, connect, taste, and grow. It's also one of the most important voices in the American artisan cheese movement. And one of the reasons the ACS has remained so valuable is that it offers more than just an annual conference. It provides a range of resources that help people at different stages of their cheese careers. It helped me out quite a bit through the ACS. I was able to gain a lot of good information that helped me study for the test, which is the ACS CCP exam that we'll talk about here shortly. The ACS offers educational webinars and online learning opportunities that allow members and industry professionals to keep building their knowledge throughout the year. These can cover topics like cheese styles, sensory evaluation, food safety, business practices, and broader industry trends. The ACS also provides online resources that support professional development. That can include educational materials, articles, recorded sessions, and other tools that make it easier for people to keep learning even if they can't attend every event in person. Another important part of the ACS's mission is scholarship support. The organization has historically offered scholarships and financial assistance opportunities that help people attend the annual conference, pursue certification, or otherwise participate in the cheese community. And that matters because cheese education can be expensive, and scholarships help make the industry more accessible to people who might not otherwise be able to take part. And I can, again, attest to that. I myself, that's what this little piece of paper back here is. I was awarded a scholarship to the last year's ACS conference, and without that, I wouldn't have been able to make it. And it was incredible that I could go and talk to people and see what the cheese world really is. So these scholarships are life-changing. They're a big deal. And I'm very grateful that I was able to be a part of one of those scholarships. As I said before, the American Cheese Society was founded in 1983, and it was during a time when the American artisan cheese was still fighting for recognition. At that time, many cheesemakers were working independently, often without easy access to peers, technical education, or a national network. At the same time, a new generation of artisan producers were proving that American cheese could be exceptional. The category was growing, but it needed structure, education, and a community to keep moving forward. The organization started small, with just a modest founding group, but it grew steadily as the artisan cheese movement expanded. Over the years, ACS membership has grown from a handful of early supporters into a national network of cheese professionals and enthusiasts. In its early days, the organization was made up of only a few dozen members. As the American cheese movement gained momentum through the 90s and 2000s, membership expanded into the hundreds and eventually into the thousands. Today, the ACS has around 2,000 members, depending on the year, and that growth reflects just how much the American cheese world has changed since 1983. Like any strong organization, the ACS has been shaped by the people who believed in it, built it, and kept it moving forward. Let's move on and talk about the annual conference that's happening right now in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the biggest and most beloved events every year. And if you've been to one, you know it's a major gathering for the entire cheese world. One of the things that makes the conference so interesting is that it travels. It doesn't stay in one place every year. It rotates around the country, which gives the event a different feel depending on where it lands. Over the years, the conference has been hosted in cities like Madison, Milwaukee, Portland, Sacramento, Denver, Providence, Buffalo, Des Moines. When the ACS is in Wisconsin, it feels especially rooted in the state's dairy heritage. But when it's in a city like Portland or Sacramento, it connects with strong artisan food communities. When it lands in places like Denver or Buffalo, it brings the cheese world into regions with their own growing specialty food scenes and local identities. In every city, the conference becomes a kind of temporary cheese capital. For a few days, the whole industry is in one place. And the conference includes educational seminars, panel discussions, many tastings, a lot of tastings, networking events, vendor exhibits, awards, and the ACS competition. The ACS conference is part classroom, part trade show, part reunion, and part cheese celebration. For cheesemakers, it's a chance to learn from peers and experts. And for mongers and retailers, it's a chance to deepen the product knowledge and meet producers face to face. For educators and writers, it's a place to hear what's happening across the industry. And for everyone involved, it's a reminder that cheese is not just a product, it is a large community. The exhibit hall is often one of the busiest parts of the conference, and that's where attendees can taste new cheeses, meet suppliers, discover new trends, and talk directly with the people making the products they sell or write about. And of course, the ACS competition is a huge part of the draw as well. This year, the conference is in Kentucky. The conference is also where you can prepare for or sit for one of the largest professional milestones in cheese, the CCP exam. And this is what makes the ACS conference so special to me. It is where I took the exam last year, and it's where hundreds of people would have taken it this year. The CCP exam is designed to test a candidate's broad knowledge of cheese, including, but not limited to, different cheese styles, all kinds of milk types, different production methods, affinage, storage and handling, food safety, service, shipping and handling, and cheese business fundamentals. But getting to the point where you can sit for the exam takes more than just enthusiasm. It takes time in the industry, a willingness to study, and a real commitment to understanding cheese from multiple angles. If you are just a monger, you have to learn about how cheese is made on the farm. And if you're a cheese maker and you don't have a lot of one-on-one experience working with customers, you have to know how to sell cheese to anybody, what that looks like, how to properly handle it from start to finish, the entire lifespan from grass to the cow, to the cheesemaker, to the trucks who ship it, to the cheesemongers, from the cheesemongers who sell it to the customer, from the customer who gets to take it home and eat it. You have to know every stage of what happens with that cheese, from grass to customer. To prepare for the test, candidates usually rely on the ACS study materials, webinars, tasting practice, and a lot of real-world experience. It helps to know not just what a cheese is called, but how it's made, how it should be stored, and how it should be served, and what can go wrong at every step of the way. The CCP exam is typically offered at the ACS conference and other approved proctored testing locations. Candidates register in advance, prepare using ACS study materials and industry knowledge, and then they sit for a timed written exam. For cheesemongers, buyers, educators, and sales professionals, earning the CCP can be a major career milestone. It signals expertise, commitment, and a real understanding of the category. And in a field where knowledge matters, that credential carries a lot of weight. If you are one of the people who took the test this week, I congratulate you. Even just taking the test is a huge accomplishment and a gigantic career milestone. Even if you pass or fail, it does not matter. The amount of knowledge you learn by preparing for the test will last you a lifetime. So whether or not you pass, whether or not you feel good about it, give it the time it takes for them to grade it, and then get your results. And no matter what the results are, you will have learned so much that it will undoubtedly affect your career in a positive way. And the good news is, if you didn't pass, you can always take it next year. You can take the exam every year if you want. Now let's talk about a part of the conference that, for when I'm recording this, happened last night, and it was such a joy to watch it live on YouTube. The ACS Judging and Competition. This is one of the largest and most respected cheese competitions in North America. And unlike a consumer tasting event, this is a highly structured technical judging process. So what does that look like? Picture a large convention hall filled with long tables, trays of cheese, score sheets, and trained judges moving methodically from one sample to the next. I actually discussed this in the last few episodes with Lee Anderson. He is a volunteer who goes up every year where they have the judging happen. And if you want a little bit more insider information on what that looks like, go listen to the episodes with him. He discusses it pretty well. But what I can go over here is the cheeses are entered into specific classes based on style, milk type, age, and format. So a cheddar is not necessarily competing directly against a bloomy rind goat cheese, and a fresh mozzarella is not being judged against a long-aged Alpine. Each cheese is judged against others in their category. And the best part is the judging is all blind. And that means that the judges don't know the brand or producer when they taste the cheese. The goal is to evaluate the cheese itself, not the reputation behind it. But judges are usually experienced professionals from across the cheese world. Cheesemakers, educators, they're buyers, affineurs, technical experts, and they're assigned to categories where their knowledge is most useful. Every cheese starts with a 100-point scale, and the judges look for things like what's the flavor, the aroma, the body and texture, appearance, the salt balance, the finish, and they look for any defects or inconsistencies. If the cheese has a flaw, it might be too salty, too dry, too soft, too bitter, too open, or just not balanced. And each one of those demerits takes points from the score. The best cheeses are the ones that are technically sound, balanced, and true to their style. Judges often use a cheese trier to pull a sample from the block or wheel. They'll smell it, feel it, break it open, taste it, and compare it to what that style should be. Then they score it. At the end of each class, the top cheeses receive gold, silver, and bronze medals. The highest scoring class winners move into the final round for Best of Show, which is the overall champion of the competition. So when people ask me, when I talk to them about the American Cheese Society Conference and the judging and the winners, I get a lot of who won first place. Now, there's really a couple answers to that. First place in class and the overall Best of Show winner. Now, there are so many first place cheeses because there's so many categories, but there's only one overall Best of Show winner. So it is a little interesting here. And I think that's what's so neat about this competition. There's no one superstar cheese and the rest get left in the dust. Each category has its, first, second, and third place. Sometimes they don't get a third place, and sometimes there's multiple people who win second place. It just depends on how the points come out after the judging happens. And if you look at the medal tables, year after year, a few names keep showing up again and again. And some of our most decorated and consistently strong producers from the ACS competition history would include, and this shouldn't surprise any of you if you're pretty familiar with the cheese industry, but Rogue Creamery, Jasper Hill Farms, Uplands Cheese, Beecher's Handmade Cheese, Point Reyes Farmstead Cheese Company, Cypress Grove, Carvalli, Hooks, Sartori, Hennings, Marique. Those are the kinds of producers that tend to show up repeatedly because they're doing something very hard, making cheese with consistency, precision, and a clear sense of style. And some cheeses have become almost legendary in competition circles because they keep performing so well. Examples include cheeses like Rogue River Blue, Harbison, Winnemere, Pleasant Ridge Reserve, Beecher's Flagship Reserve, Point Reyes Original Blue, Humboldt Fog, and Marica Goude aged 18 months. And if you want a recent example of how competitive the ACS has become, the top prize in the last 2 years has gone to the same company out of Quebec, Canada, Fromagerie La Station. Now, I am not French nor Canadian, so I apologize if that is incorrect. But they are a cheese company out of Canada, and they make a lot of amazing cheeses. But for the judging purposes, in 2024 and 2025, they earned the Best of Show with 2 different types of cheese, which is unheard. Now, that kind of repeat success is very rare, and it says a lot about the consistency of their cheese making. As for the overall first place or Best of Show winners in recent years, the title's gone to standout cheeses that reflect the same pattern. It has to be technically precise, with a strong identity and a real character. And that's the heart of the ACS competition. It's not about what's pretty, it's, technically what's close to perfect as you can get. And for cheesemakers, a medal from the ACS can mean a lot for their career and their visibility. It increases stronger credibility and the more interest from buyers and consumers when they see that this cheese has won some awards, especially from an organization like the ACS. For retailers and cheesemongers like myself, it's also a pretty useful guide. If a cheese does well at the ACS, that's a good signal to me that I need to start paying attention about this cheese because it is going to probably blow up in the next few months to years. So every year when a conference rolls around, the judging competition is not the side event. That is one of the main events. You get the CCP, you get the conference, you get the judging. They all hold a great deal of importance. Now, another thing that happens at the conference each year is the sensory exam. This isn't something I've been able to do yet, but it is something that I would like to do in the future. It is a little different than the CCP test because alongside very broad cheese knowledge, the ACS also places a lot of value on the sensory skill, your ability to taste carefully, describe accurately, and recognize what makes a cheese what it is. That's where the sensory or taste exam comes in. This part of the ACS education fits naturally with the CCP because once you understand the theory of cheese, you also need to understand how to evaluate it in practice. The sensory exam is designed to test a person's ability to assess cheese through sight, smell, texture, flavor, and if there's defects, you should be able to recognize those as well. In many cases, this is done as a blind tasting. Candidates may be asked to identify cheese styles, recognize common characteristics, and notice flaws or imbalances in the product. Now, a trained palate should be able to tell the difference between a young cheddar and an aged cheddar, a washed rind cheese and a blooming rind cheese, and a clean, balanced flavor, and then one with a defect. A properly ripened cheese and one that is under or over aged. That kind of sensory training helps cheese makers, judges, mongers, and buyers do all of their jobs so much better. And in a way, it connects kind of back to everything the ACS is trying to do. Raise standards, improve communication, and help people talk about cheese with more precision and confidence. Now, I could go for hours on what all things the ACS has done since '83 and the impact that they've had on my life specifically. But for today, we're going to wrap it up quickly with just a little quick background on what the ACS is, tell you that, hey, there's a conference going on right now, and I hope that everyone who got to go is having just the best time. And if you took the CCP or the taste exams, I hope you did fantastic. And if you are a cheese maker who submitted a cheese for judging and you placed, I congratulate you. That is an amazing achievement. Next episode I'm going to cover the highlighted winners from this year's competition. But that wraps it up for today's episode, highlighting the American Cheese Society. My name is Alex. Thank you for listening. This has been The Modern Monger.